and also the retired Justice and Integrity Commission chairman, as he received the Gleaner Honor Award, top honor, platinum award for the gentleman here. Indeed. All right, let's go to the phone line. Quickly take Marsh. Hi, Marsh.
Yes, sir. Good
man.
Morning.
Yeah, talk to me quick, because I have Ratty holding.
Yeah, man. You see the new strategy now where the GLT them are broke off. The Mark Golden, a long time them investigate him, so they come up with something now, say him a British passport. But under the Constitution, he can even come from Pakistan, Canada, and one of the Commonwealth countries and sit in our parliament.
As long as he ordinarily reside in Jamaica for 12 months. That is to say, he live in Jamaica for 12 months. That is what the Constitution of Jamaica says.
Right. So
it must not be confused. It must not be confused by those persons in 2007 who were stranger in the parliament. Who was his name again? Warmington, Mikey Stern, Sharon Hay Webster, and the list goes on.
And none was from the Commonwealth.
No, all of them were basically U.S. citizens, and of course, Mr. Mears, he was a Venezuelan.
One of them South America.
He's a Venezuelan.
Yeah, South America. That's South America. Right. So right now, this morning, now they send out their mouthpiece, Big Mama over there now. I said Big Mama now lick.
Well, first thing, I don't really know who is that, So I don't know who is that.
A lot of people know. And then
it's a nonsensical argument, and I will call name. And I'm going to be respectful. I hear my good friend George Davis with it this morning. I don't know if it's that way to say it. Well, I heard George Davis with this morning, and I would be happy to engage George and any of his platform, whether on Nationwide or on CVM. I will be prepared to engage him and to look him in the eye and say, George, you need to do better than that. They knew that what they're doing is basically indecent and is incorrect. There's absolutely no way that you can basically put the two together. They're totally separate. If we're getting into a discussion to say, listen, Mark, we think that you can look at it if you wish to renounce your British citizenship. Fine, but don't come and create a storm in a teacup as if Mark Golden is doing something wrong. We must also remind Jamaicans that for what it's worth, this argument about lineage and so on, and where you're born, Mr. Seaga, who served as Prime Minister, he was not born in Jamaica. But we accept him and he become a prime minister because he was indeed a rightful Jamaican by way of his parents and lived here and met the criteria.
I'm saying right now, Obi.
Yes.
If Mark Golden then is in Parliament illegally, why they don't use the law and take him out?
Good question, Marsh. But listen, join me maybe after Mr. Rattigan. I want to get him in. I don't want to keep him for too long.
Yell him up to me.
Good. Okay, cool. So we will be talking to Mr. Wilfred Rattigan. So we await him to join him while we continue to look at some of the headlines in the paper. Man City, that is Manchester City fans, celebrate as club wins record 4th straight EPL. All right, I want to congratulate all of my friends who are Man City.
Sir, we are starting to join Conrad Bryan and Wilfred Rattigan anytime now for their program. Mr. Rattigan will be speaking to Conrad Bryan this morning.
All right, so Jamaica, Sharika Jackson.
We're speaking to Mr.
Rochelle Clayton picked up win.
Conrad Bryan this morning. So we are standing by to join them to hear what they're going to speak about.
Morocco. All right, I want to congratulate those ladies.
Yeah, sorry. We are standing by to join Mr. Rattigan and Conrad Bryan this morning to speak to them on their program of what they're going to speak about today. Let's see if we have them yet.
We continue to encourage our youngsters.
Yes, we're still waiting on them, still waiting to join them. As soon as they do so, we will go to them live. It is a simulcast broadcast this morning right here on the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. You know something? The whole topic of constitutional reform is hot on everybody's topic. It's hot on everybody's lip this morning. And it's something that we all need to speak about.
Very interested. So, Newton.
Yes, it's a very hot topic that we all need to speak.
100 and.
You know, so we're still waiting on them to come on that they can have the chit chat for us to hear what they're saying and for us to dig deeper in the conversation when that broadcast is done with. So it is going to be Conrad O'Brien, talk show host of News Talk 93 FM with Wilfred Rattigan from Wilfred Rattigan, live here on the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. It's a simulcast broadcast. We will bring it to you live for you all to listen.
Rattigan, how are you doing? How are you doing, Rebel?
I'm the fireman. I'm doing great. I'm on top of the world. Blessings to you, your staff, and your listening audience.
Indeed, you're coming through nice and clear this morning. Now, Mr. Rattigan, we talked to you last week, but certainly it was choppy, and so by popular demand, my listeners have been bombarding my phone and asked me to get you back on the program. So I accede to their request. All right. I'm going to start with something that one of my listeners put here, Mr. Rattigan. Barbara Hart. She said, "Hey, OB, she was asking me that when I have you on, I should talk to you about the family. This young man, a Jamaican athlete in Canada, and he and his family is scheduled to be deported to Jamaica. They left Jamaica on the grounds that they were being attacked because of their political allegiance. They support from what we saw reported in the international space, they supported the PNP, and they said that, they were being attacked and all sorts of stuff, and they actually migrated to Canada seeking asylum, but the Canadian government want to send them back to Jamaica. Is anything that the global diaspora group prepared to do to assist or to help this family? Are you aware of it, first of all?
Yes, I'm very familiar with the case, and we have not been approached in terms of providing any assistance. But suffice it to say that one of the grounds for asylum is persecution based on political belief. And so it sounds to me like there is a reputable case to be made here. But again, I don't know who's representing the family, if they're represented at all. So if they want to reach out to us, they certainly should feel free to do
Yes, I don't know much about the case savings, except that, we saw the family on the newscast, and they are basically crying, and one of they really at their wits' end. And as a matter of fact, the youngster, the son who represented KC while he was here in Jamaica at the annual Boys and Girls Championship, he was preparing to represent Canada because he, was of the opinion that they would be granted the stay there.
Do you know if they're detained?
Huh?
Do you know if they're detained?
It would somewhat appear like that. It appears so, because they said that the preparation had already started for deportation for them to board the plane, and that was last week. So I don't know if there's somebody intervene rather, and there's a stay of execution. And
right, because if they're detained, they should get some consular visits. So the High Commission office in Canada should be alerted by the Canadian authorities, and so they should be involved But again, we don't know.
Through your arm in Canada, would anyone be able to maybe reach out to you? I know you said that the family has not reached out to you or the group personally as far as you're aware, but could the script flip and you basically do the reaching out?
Yeah, you can provide me with the number. And then I'll
all right. I don't know. Anybody who knows anything of the family in terms of the contact and so on, please let us know. As Mr. Rattigan said, that they would be happy to, reach out to the family to see how best they can assist. Because certainly seems as if they're in a spot of bother there. Now, Mr. Rattigan, going back to a number of things, and we have ventilated some of the issues that take place, but let us look at some of the things that are trending in Jamaica now. Recently, the opposition leader and PNP president, Mr. Mark Golding, posit a personal view that he believes that we should look at accepting dual citizenship, that is to say United States citizen, into our parliament, because of course, based on the Commonwealth arrangement, that people who are Commonwealth citizens can sit in our parliament once they reside in Jamaica, ordinarily for a year or more, they would have that access so to do. From where you sit, is there any traction being garnered with those pronouncements or those proposal or suggestion from Mr. Golding, however personal they are, because he did make that disclaimer that he was positing a personal view. And we also have recorded clips from Prime Minister Holness himself supporting that view some time ago. Maybe for political reasons, they tend to be back off that, because that is how the political silly season goes here in Jamaica. The people will have a view at that time and then they change it and so on and so forth. What's your take on that?
Well, Mr. Golding doesn't need me to defend him. He's ably equipped to defend himself.
Yes.
What I'm here defending is the Constitution. And the Constitution provides, and even your previous caller, Marsh, mentioned it. The Constitution provides, and you just mentioned it as well, that
and
if you're a Commonwealth...
Professor Rosalie Hamilton, everybody.
Yes, for me, it's much ado about nothing, and as you referred earlier, it's a tempest in a teacup. There's nothing here.
Indeed, and as Paul Ashley, attorney at law, like yourself, said that, listen, this is really and truly a diversionary tactics from the corruption that is enveloping the Holness administration, and there seems to be getting harsh beating. We saw on the political platform over the weekend, where none other than Beautiful speaking, saying that, calling for unity within the Jamaica Labour Party. I'm laughing because I said they must be having in her head, they will have her head there. Who dare her to come on platform to talk about this unity in the Jamaica Labour Party?
Well, look, the Constitution provides for him to be there. Yes. Now, if they think that he shouldn't be there, then they should do what they've done with the others. They should just simply say, you're not allowed to sit in the
Parliament,
in the House. And then the fine for doing that. What they say, the Constitution says, if you sit in the House and you know you shouldn't be sitting in the House, then there's a fine. It was £10 some time ago, and now they changed it to $20 a day. Then fine him then. All you have to do is say, hey, look, if you think I shouldn't be here, then take appropriate action. End of story. That's all.
Absolutely. And as it relates to those are these issues that you have within the diaspora that you have been protesting on, have you been seeing where any changes are taking place in Jamaica where they are being addressed? As anybody, for example, the ambassador reached out to your grouping and say, here is it, we're doing this or we're doing that, and we want to sit down and have a chat about these things?
If you answer that question, let me just give you a section in the Constitution. Section 46, it says that any person who sits or votes in either house, knowing or having reason to ground for knowing that he's not entitled to do so, shall be liable to a penalty of £10 for each day upon which he so sits or votes. And I think it's been changed to $20. So all you have to do is say to them, look, if you think I'm unqualified, use Section 46 and get rid of me then. Fine me. And that's it. I wouldn't, if I were advising him, I wouldn't get into all of this cascade and this back and forth with them. I would just say, listen, you're questioning my loyalty, you're questioning my citizenship. In fact, the Constitution says you can't discriminate against me based on color or sex or religion, and it appears as if that's what you're doing. So here's what you do. Go ahead and institute proceedings to remove me. Otherwise, shut your mouth.
That's the case of Mark Golden, yes.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the story. Now, getting to the diaspora, issues you raised, we haven't heard anything from the government in terms of sitting down and trying to resolve the outstanding differences. And we don't think that is going to happen anytime soon, because we've laid down 3 fundamental principles upon which we will not divert. One is, while we're waiting on them to say, look, let's have a meeting, we're not going to stop what we've planned to do, and that is to protest, to meet with lawmakers and discuss all of these issues, to bring lawsuits, all these things that we have in our toolkit. We're going to use them while we're waiting for them to come and say, let's have a meeting. And by the way, they told us, a representative told us, okay, we will get back in touch with you guys regarding a meeting. And we haven't heard anything. Yeah. And I made it abundantly clear to that person that we're not going to sit around and wait and stall what we plan to do while you decide if you're going to have a meeting. So that's number one. We're going to continue. So number 2 is that when we sit, if there's a meeting and we sit at the table, we sit as equals. We don't sit as minions or subordinates. You're not going to speak to us and treat us the way that you've always spoken or treated the diaspora, especially now, where we have people who claim to be diaspora representatives who are actually agents of the Jamaican government. So that's not going to happen. And the third thing is, under no circumstances, Fireman, no circumstances will we have a diaspora organization controlled, staffed by the Jamaican, influenced by the Jamaican government. As it is now, they have what they call a movement, and it is staffed, influenced, directed, controlled by the Jamaican government. Under no circumstances. When we
so that's a non-negotiable there.
Non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. Mr. Rattigan, one of the things that we do here, we push the envelope, and we're going to be asked in the questions that are out there. Now, however small a group in it is, we're not able to quantify it because we don't have a scientific survey in hand. But some people said that, listen, you and others are mouthpiece of the PNP and you're unpatriotic. I think I put that to you before, but I'm putting that to you again because that's one of the legs that some people are standing on. Just hold that for me. Let me go to the final break and come back to you. We're in the segment that is sponsored by Kenmore Manufacturing. So come, second state.
That is the difference between them and us.
A few will continue to plunder poor people's money because we will have to continue to live with the rampant corruption that has characterized this government, of which the Prime Minister has been a part from beginning till now.
Corruption, and and the billions of tax dollars that have been mismanaged by this administration. Our young people are looking on, and we see these acts go unpunished, ministry after ministry, board after board, time and time again. We see millions being allocated for gratuitous projects while we're left to fend for ourselves and find solutions, which may not always be ideal. And it appears, colleagues, that this government does not have its priorities right. I'm not making this up. This is what young people are saying. And we would be blind to not see that the behavior by public officials is one of the contributing factors that contribute to the growing disinterest that youth have in Jamaica. Young people are looking for transparency. They're looking for accountability from those who have been elected to serve them.
Time comes, the time is now if you want a better Jamaica.
We offer a family-friendly facility, providing wheelchair access and a children's play area. Wellington Dental.
You, Prime Minister, should pack your bags and go. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman. Right, Mr. Small. You, Prime Minister, should pack your bags and go. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman. Right, Mr. Small.
Jamaica, make we clean up.
Kenmore Shootman.
A plaza make, and you want a shop on the plaza, it's in US dollar.
Limited. Kenmore.
Rich. Everything are run by China. Road are run by China. Government are run by America. Can I preach? Can I preach? Native citizen, we can't hold nothing down, yeah. Can I preach? Chinese are take over. I feel my belly. Somebody say, whoa. We need deliverance. We need the blood. We need Jesus. We need help. Can I preach? A plaza make, and you want a shop on the plaza, it's in US dollar.
Everywhere. My God.
Rich.
Inviting you to join me.
Everything are run by China. Road are run by China. Government are run by America. Can I preach? Can I preach? Native citizen, we can't hold nothing down, yeah. Can I preach? Chinese are take over. I feel my belly. Somebody say, whoa.
It's brought to you by.
We need deliverance. We need the blood. We need Jesus. We need help. Can I preach?
Welcome back to Straight Up right here in News Talk 93 FM as we simulcast with our friends at Fit FM and indeed Caribbean Vibes Radio Network. We have online our guest, Wilfred Rattigan, attorney at law, former FBI special agent. The Observer is reporting this morning, and this is something that the diaspora have concern about, that's dovetail into crime. Night of terror at Freeport lockup as prisoners and police officers injured. So you see what is happening. Even the criminality, the crime is being brought right there into the cell. So we have big issues here in Jamaica, and also we're seeing a caption here. Senator Sinclair says golden failure to answer British citizenship question is unacceptable. I guess Mr. Golden had answered those questions. There is a communique that sent out, and it detailed the whole business of Mr. Golden, that a passport was taken out from him when he was a child by his father and so on and so forth. Let's go back to Mr. Rattigan. Hello, Mr. Rattigan?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
We have the 11:35. We have the communique there. All right, we have it there. So we'll read it in a few. It's 11:35. We have my partner and brother in partnership on the line here. I call him the rebel with a cause, the man who no afraid. Go behind. Ratty, boy, listen,
Yes,
I want special coverage or special FBI coverage. You can provide me with that?
Indeed.
All right, cool. So, as we were saying that, you know, the question is that basically you're a mouthpiece for the PNP and so on and so forth, and you are unpatriotic Jamaican. How do you respond to those persons who are of such view and opinion, Mr. Rattigan?
Well, you know, the question, it reminds me of something I learned in law school. It's akin to if you have a good case, right? And the law is on your side, that's the case you want. You want a case where the law is on your side. If you don't have the law on your side, then you try and get the facts. You try and twist the facts. And if you can't twist the facts and you don't have the law, then you attack the person. And that's what's going on here. Because nobody is looking at the issues that we've been raising and saying that these are false. What they're saying is that these people are the mouthpiece of the PNP. Now, let me just clear that up. I grew up in Jamaica in JLP neighborhood, over in Olympic Way, a place called Compound, and I grew up in a Waterhouse, right? JLP and PNP neighborhood. When I left Jamaica, I was too young to even get enumerated to vote. I never voted in Jamaica. I had no interest in Jamaican politics or what was going on until about 3 years ago. The first party to reject my application to become police commissioner was the People's National Party. And the PNP,
but they say it's because you don't get the work for Labour while you're against them.
No. That's what they say. But they don't know, or they don't want to.
So hold on, Mr. Rattigan, because this is a very important point. So you're saying to us this morning that your application had been rejected, or certainly you weren't given the job of commissioner on the both party, both PNP and JLP.
Right, I wasn't even, and that's a given, but not even considered for the job. And here's the part now that's very interesting. The PNP asked me to apply for the job through the High Commission in South Africa. They asked because they were doing something called mapping the diaspora, where they were looking at Jamaicans living abroad who had a particular skill set that could come back and make a valuable contribution to the society. And at the time I was thinking about retiring, and they asked me to apply. Now, if I had any vindictive spirit,
it would be against the PNP.
Exactly, because the JP didn't ask me to apply. The PNP asked me to apply, and then they didn't consider me. So this idea of, I didn't get the job and so I'm vindictive and all this stuff, it's nonsense. Now, here is what they must talk to me about, right? Here's what they must talk to me about, Conrad. They must talk to me about the illicit six. They must talk to me about the Prime Minister's the Integrity Commission. They've said that they cannot verify, they have not verified the statutory declarations of 2021, 2022, and we're waiting for 2023. They must tell me that it's not true that the Prime Minister asked for good governance and anti-corruption training from Integrity Commission. He and the Cabinet and the opposition and civil servants received that training. And then when they asked him to sign the code of conduct, the 7 governing principles, like openness and transparency and accountability, he has refused. They must tell me now that that's not true. Now, what they must also tell me is that the states of emergency proclaimed by the Governor General upon the recommendation of the Prime Minister that they were constitutional, because the court ruled that they were unconstitutional. And as a result, there are Jamaican citizens now who sued civilly and they're receiving compensation on the backs of taxpayers, not the government, because government has money, taxpayers' money. They must come and tell me that the 1.7 trillion dollars that the Auditor General said that she cannot account for, her office cannot account, then nobody can account for it.
So those are the things that you're interested in basically highlighting in Jamaica and certainly by way of the diaspora, Mr. Rattigan.
Exactly. But this is what happens. They're not talking about those issues. They'll say, oh, they're PNP mouthpiece. No. But here's the thing, Conrad. Even if you want to say we're PNP, which we're not, say that we're PNP mouthpieces, I would say, all right, fine. No. Talk to us about the issues. They still can't talk to you about the issues.
Are you saying that Mr. Dr. Francis is still a card-carrying member of the JLP?
Dr. Francis will tell you in no uncertain terms. He doesn't equivocate about it. He will tell you that he's a card-carrying voting member of the Jamaica Labour Party. And we respect him for that. And we go ahead.
So how so much coal is being heaped on his head to say that he is campaigning against the JLP and is a PNP?
That's exactly what's going on. Coal being heaped on his head. The issues are not being addressed. And so what we're doing, we are making the public aware, right, that the issues are not us. The issues are the maladministration of the government, the failure to govern appropriately and fairly. Those are the issues. Because here's the thing: I never run for election in Jamaica. Nobody elected me, so I'm not in charge of the purse strings. I'm making decisions.
Just a minute there, Mr. Rattigan, because this is coming to hand. There is a story here. There's a confirmation here from Mr. Mark Golding, leader of the opposition, People's National Party and opposition leader, where it's coming from the Gleaner is reporting amid widespread calls for him to declare his British citizenship. Opposition leader Mark Golding has indicated that he remains a British citizen but insists that there is no legal basis for him to renounce his status in the United Kingdom, UK, at this time. I am a Jamaican citizen by birth. I am also a UK citizen by descent. I have not renounce my British citizenship as it is not legally necessary for me to do so. Golding told the Gleaner yesterday. All right, so that's a part of the discussion that is taking place here in Jamaica as well. So that clarifies what you said earlier at the top of our discussion, Mr. Rattigan.
Right. So the question is, what are they asking for? Are they asking for him to renounce? Are they asking for him to depart Parliament? What are they asking for? I don't understand this.
They're asking for him to renounce. Renounce, right. not to get him out of the Parliament, because they know that they don't have any legs there. So they are moving the thing to say that, listen, by virtue of you having the British citizenship, renounce that citizenship, so basically you stand alone as a Jamaican citizen. But here the conundrum in that it still stands that a person who is a citizen of Britain or anywhere in the Commonwealth could walk into Jamaica, have enough charisma, liked enough, and so on, run for the House of Parliament, win the seat, and go on to be Prime Minister. Nothing would be able to stop them. So I don't see the sense in that until if we go ahead.
This is how ridiculous the argument is, because if somebody can be born overseas in a Commonwealth country, come to Jamaica, spend a year, right, living in Jamaica, and then run for Parliament, be elected to Parliament, and possibly be selected to become the Prime Minister of Jamaica. If a person who's born outside the country can do that without renouncing citizenship, then why is it that somebody who's born in Jamaica and by virtue of an act of his parents, then you tell him that he must renounce? When when somebody coming from outside, you don't tell them that they must renounce. And you couldn't tell them that because under the Constitution, it's not required. This is much ado about nothing.
Absolutely. So I think the discussion should be, Mr. Rattigan, that in light of the constitutional change that we are contemplating, people who have that issue, that's where they should take it and say, listen, let's look at this in the Constitution and see if we want to remove that provision within the constituency at this within the Constitution at this time.
You know, Conrad, there's a saying, some people are wise and some people are otherwise. The people making this argument, they're otherwise. So I would just ignore them and just move on with my life. There's nothing here.
All right. So let us do that. Let us again switch. So you're saying that Mr. Francis, Dr. Francis, let's give him a title, Captain Dr. Rupert Francis, he continued to be a card-carrying member of the Jamaica Labour Party, and indeed he ran for the Labour Party 3 times up there in, I think, North Central Clarendon.
Yeah, and the thing is,
Northern Clarendon, not North Central, Northern. Mm-hmm.
The group that we have, we don't care about people's political views or affiliation. What we care about the issues concerning Jamaica, because we say that you were, and Dr. Francis has openly proclaimed this on several occasions, said he was born a Jamaican. He wasn't born a Labourite or something else. He was born a Jamaican. Mm-hmm. He became a Labourite. And so he's fighting for what he was born as a Jamaican. And he said, so we're looking at the issues affecting Jamaica. I mean, there couldn't be anything.
Are you hopeful, Mr. Rattigan, that this government, headed by Mr. Andrew Holness, will pay your group in any mind at all, or you're just there going on infertility, making some sounds, gathering a few hundreds, a few thousand people in the public spheres and so on, but that will be the sum total of it, or you don't mind doing that? What you want is to put the attention out there.
Well, the Jamaican government, no Jamaican government has undergone what this government is going through right now with the diaspora. And the diaspora has been a willing subordinate to the Jamaican government over the decades. This diaspora is not my mother's diaspora. This is not the diaspora where you tell them and they say, oh, government says so it must be true. This diaspora is asking who, when, why, where, what, how. We're asking questions and we're holding people accountable. And we see that our brothers and sisters in Jamaica are suffering and they are afraid to come out and do what we are doing. We're unafraid, right? Mm-hmm. Because we know that we have a First Amendment right that we can freely express within the constraints of the law.
Good.
And that's what we are doing.
Good.
So we're not afraid, and we're doing it on their behalf, but also we're doing it on behalf of diaspora members. We have diaspora members here who are homeless, who are on public assistance, and guess what? The diaspora policy that the Jamaican government published, it said that we have to take care of people here, Jamaicans here, who are suffering as well. So we have suffering Jamaicans here that we should be focused on their
so there's nothing personal in this. You're doing this because of humanity. The other thing, Mr. Rattigan, that always come to the fore as well is that the conversation that the diaspora make a lot of contribution by way of sending money home to Jamaica. The last time one of the time you guys had the record of sending home about $3.6 billion in remittance. The conversation, and I heard it elsewhere up to this morning, to say that it's an argument in futility because that money is sent home to your grandmother, your mother, your child, or so on and things like that, or your friends. It's not sent to the government. Is that the sum total of what the money that comes into Jamaica do, or diaspora members also engage in entrepreneurship that basically pays over a lot of taxes and so on to the Jamaican government?
Well, there you go. You just said it. It's not just money that you send home to, Auntie May or Granny Sue or Uncle Bob. No. It's the diaspora members who pay taxes, the diaspora members who they use they use a lot of services that they have to pay a fee for. You have diaspora members who purchase property and invest in Jamaica. So it's not just that. But be that as it may, since they're gonna rubbish that argument, you know what I'm calling for? I'm calling for all diaspora members not to send any money home to Jamaica in December. Since them rubbish can say it's not count, they couldn't send no money home to December and see what happens.
But that's but that's a part of the conversation. Know that what you would do is deprive your family member, your old mother, and I'm using the word you in its plural sense.
Collectively.
Yeah, collectively. Mm-hmm. Right? So you would have that situation where your grandmother down there in Manchester, in Trelawney, here in Kingston, wherever, basically would go without Christmas dinner. So how do you address that question?
Here's the thing. My mother used to tell me, God bless her soul. She used to say, if you want to go, the nose have to run. And sometimes things have to get worse before them get better. And you will never achieve a move to come of success without sacrifice. You have to make a sacrifice somewhere along the way.
And a part of that, and you as a firm and bona fide member of what you're calling the legitimate diaspora, because you have now registered the name and so on. That's a part of the call that you are making to say that in December or wherever, to send a message. You're urging your fellow diaspora not to send any money to Jamaica?
Well, no, I'm not speaking. That's speaking in my individual capacity. The group will have to come out with a statement later on whether or not they support it or whether they support it.
But that's something that you would support?
Beg your pardon?
That's something that you would support? That's your position?
Yes, I would certainly support that.
So when me call you and say to send me 5 bills, you know what I'm saying?
You wait till January. But here's another thing, Conrad, right?
Yes.
They always come up with this idea that tourism bring a whole heap of money from Jamaica. But recently, the Minister Barkett, had to admit that about half of the money that them attribute to tourism don't make it in Jamaica.
No, man, it's right? much more than half.
Well, right, I think it's 40% if they come to Jamaica.
Yeah, but I was talking to someone who is in the know, and the person is saying that it's about 20 or 25% really going into tourism, because to date, I think even on the plate within the hotel sector in tourism, it's about 10% Jamaican is on the plate. That is to say, for my listeners, that is to say that what is being served in the hotel, only 10% of that produce right here in Jamaica. Something that we need to basically pay urgent attention to.
So that's why money remittances are so important, because that's real money coming back to Jamaica. We do not estimate it and say, well, we take off half right, or some might went to a bank in America or Switzerland or wherever. This is money that is actually coming into the country. The tourism dollars that they talk about, it's projected, and right now we know that less than half of it actually comes to Jamaica.
And a part of the discussion, Mr. Rattigan, don't the agency that carried the transfer, i.e. the Western Union, the MoneyGram, the various bank and so on, don't they have to pay a part of that fee that they collect to the government?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, for doing business. Yes, of course. So that's why we don't even listen to this nonsense. The other thing I want to talk to you about, Conrad, is that there is a business conference that will take place in Jamaica in Montego Bay.
I just closing the program with you, right? So we have about 4 or 5 minutes to go.
Yes,
4 minutes.
They have a business conference that will be held in Jamaica, and they call it the 10th biannual
Diaspora Conference.
Yes, that's nonsense. And I'm urging people not to go to that conference, because that conference is about selling services, it's about selling products, it's about investment. It's not about addressing the issues affecting our brothers and sisters in Jamaica and the diaspora. Instead, people should listen to the People's Conference, which is going to be put on by the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, the real one, the one that is registered. And that will be held June 16 through 19 from 7 to 10 p.m., which is from 6 to 9 p.m. Jamaica time. And in that conference, we will be discussing strategies and solutions. We're not going to have impactful discussions as the business conference is going to have, and you just chit-chat and just carry on, and then you move on to business. No, we're telling people, ignore that conference. Don't spend the plane ticket, the hotel fee, ground transportation, telephone, food, registration. Don't spend that money. And
this position now that you're exposing is the official position of the diaspora, the diaspora, global diaspora.
Yes. Council.
Yes. That's
yes.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And again, what you're saying, you're asking your members, that is people in the diaspora, not to attend the conference that is scheduled for Montego Bay Conference Center?
Correct. Correct.
But those persons, Mr. Rattigan, I don't know that the diaspora that will be coming to that conference are those persons who are basically carrying the mantra that you are carrying, as you correctly said, because you're about putting the issue on the table, asking about national security, about corruption, about your brothers and sisters, housing, accommodation, and so on. Those people who are going to that conference don't have that interest, Mr. Rattigan.
Some people from the diaspora are intrigued, and so they would go.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, don't be intrigued by that, because what happened? They're looking for 1,000 people. They don't have 1,000 people with the kind of financial abilities that they're looking for. So I'm telling to people, look, they're going to get who they're going to get. The business people want to come there and make money off the backs of Jamaicans, then fine, they're going to get those people. But the people, because I've attended one of those conferences, you have people like me who just go just to see what's going on. I'm saying, no, don't go. Stay home, because we will bring to you the happenings of the day, and then we will tell you about what's happening, what's going on at night. But here's something I would need to bring to the attention of those people planning to go, and to the listening audience.
Yes.
For crime prevention and national security, you know what they're advertising? They said they're going to explore innovative strategies to build safer communities. You believe that, Conrad? After 8 years, they're now going to explore innovative strategies.
Well, what I say to you is that the exploration process or period seems to have long elapsed, and it shows that if you are going to explore that after 8 years, then certainly it seems to me that you are bankrupt for ideas as a government, and it's pretty much time for you to be ushered out. As Gina Jennings did with Vegas, who seems to be searching for a new lease in life, and he was ushered out. So that's a
some things are better left unsaid, man. But listen, regarding the national security, remember they said they're exploring innovative ways, right, to deal with the crime problem. Here's what our conference is going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at poor leadership at national security, the mismanagement of resources. All right,
Mr. Rattigan, I have to leave. Thanks for today. I have to leave. My producer is in a frantic mood. I have to go. All right, so on behalf of my listeners and indeed my producer Conrad O'Brien, say thanks to Professor Rosalie Hamilton, also to Mr. Wilfred Rattigan, callers, and also the listeners. Stick and stay with us. Join me again tomorrow right here at News Start 93 FM.